All right, guys, welcome back to our round 3 feature match. We have Brandon Lasure on the left. He's playing Mono Blue Tron versus Bob Levdansky on the right. He's playing Grixis Delver this evening. Giving the players the signal now.
And we should get started here real soon. So Grixis Delver is something new for Bob to be playing. He's typically a Jund player.
He's had Grixis control at the last few FNMs, and I think he's just trying the Delver variant this time.
Okay. I just haven't been here for the last couple FNMs, so that's...
Yeah, I think he's played it the last 2.
Okay. And then Brandon Lasure has been on Mono Blue Tron for quite a while.
Yep. Normally, I don't think Grixis does particularly well against Tron, but normally we're talking about green-red Tron.
Right.
I think the blue Tron might make for a little bit more of an interactive
right,
matchup.
Because there's obviously all the counter spells that it has access to, but they both have access to basically the same counter spells if they wanted to both play them. But the Mono Blue Tron deck is trying to play more of a card selection battle with its counter spells, where the Grixis Delver list is more about pure card draw.
Mm-hmm. We are calling it Mono Blue, but Brandon does have a small black splash.
Right, and that's really just for like fatal pushes and a couple other removal spells.
He might have surgicals on the board. I'm not sure.
But for the most part, it's just really just one or two,
There's the Watery Grave battle. It's one of the few Shocklands that I prefer the new art.
Yeah, I like the new art for the Watery Grave as well. One of the ones I do not like the new art for is really Hollow Fountain.
I like both. I probably prefer the old art, though. Here's a map.
So, an interesting play by Lasure to play the Polluted Delta instead of the Tron piece.
So, Mono Blue Tron, unlike Green Red Tron, is not trying to assemble Tron as fast as possible.
Right.
It plays a much slower game plan with counter spells and bounce spells. It plays a lot more like a control deck.
Okay.
Like a more typical control deck than Green Red Tron.
So Bob fetches and goes down to 14 to go get a Steam Vents. I'm going to say that this is probably a Young Pyromancer coming in play after his Delver failed to flip.
Hiya! In comes the 1/1.
And, he's just going to pass back. So maybe it was just a pass to just make sure he has mana open available for the next turn.
It seems weird to fetch premeditatively like that.
Right.
Definitely signaled a creature.
I for sure thought it was a Young Pyromancer coming into play.
Yeah.
So Brandon's going to fetch down, go get a island. A little bit of a shuffle there. And draw step is a Sundering Titan.
That's a fun card to resolve.
Yeah.
Not so much to have resolved against you.
Right. Delver trigger. Delver fails to flip again.
Yeah.
So one of the big issues with the Delver list in Modern is you don't have access to Ponder. You don't have Preordain. You don't have Brainstorm. So, and really you don't even have Gataxian Probe anymore. So really you're just left with Sleight of Hand.
And Sleight of Hand, yeah.
Serum Visions, and possibly Thought Scour as the cards that you're going to play for your cantrips.
The bad trips.
Right. Or the cantrips.
The cantrips. I like that better.
So Bob actually just goes and fetches down to 11 now.
Colgan's command?
Sure, but that doesn't do anything, I don't feel.
He did have a window to... No, he didn't because he only had 2 mana. Never mind. Alright, so here's...
Is this the...
Collective Brutality.
Okay. He's going to escalate it once.
Yeah, and he has... That one blew up. He does have a Spell Pierce in his hand.
So here comes a Condescend, I'm sure.
And if Bob wants, he can Spell Pierce this, which
right,
I imagine
I imagine he does, because it takes another card out of his hand.
Alright, so Duress is one of the modes.
Get rid of the Remand.
And I'm assuming Tendrils is the other mode.
Right.
So this is going to leave Brandon with only a Sundering Titan.
Which is really good for Bob. I mean...
Yeah, especially considering Brandon only is going to have 2 Tron pieces.
And in comes the Delver attack for 1. Now, there's an Academy Rune, so that helps out Brandon a lot because he'll be able to crack and then eventually flip
the map to get his 3rd Tron piece.
Right.
Yeah. But speaking of flipping...
And there went the old Delver. And it got flipped by a lightning bolt nonetheless. So this is quickly turning into exactly what Brandon wants. But Bob has basically all the answers that he's going to need here in the very near future.
He has another Spell Pierce in his hand. Do you know what his other card is?
I think it's just the bolt that he flipped off the Delver.
Okay, yeah. Alright, so here's draw. It's an island.
So you play out the Tron piece that he knows about.
Well, since your only card in hand ends where the Tron piece that you were going to play and the Sundering Titan, I kind of like activating Academy Ruins in the upkeep to put that map on top to draw.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, because it gives you something to do with your mana.
Yeah, and
then you still get to play your Tron piece.
yeah.
And then all that really does is it takes away... it leaves you susceptible to spell pierce for the map.
Uh-huh.
But, like, does Bob really care about it at this point? Like, he's got a Delver.
Yeah.
He's got a Bolt. Like...
Brandon's essentially at 4 right now.
Right. So here comes the Tron piece.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about. Or excuse me, not the Tron piece, but the map.
I don't think he meant to play that island. You saw him play the island and then pause.
Yep.
All right. So
And Bob is quite flooded actually as well. So
yeah. All right. Brandon's is actually at 4 now, so he's essentially at 1.
Yep.
Cracking the map.
But I think it's just a little bit too late for the Sundering Titan.
Yeah, the Sundering Titan is still gonna leave Bob with 3 lands.
Right, because Bob still has 2 fetches, obviously.
Yeah.
And so he's gonna blow up a mountain, a swamp, and an island.
He's gonna hit those 3 shock lands.
Leave up his lands.
Mm-hmm.
And then
what he needs is an answer to the Delver.
Right.
Which
is that a repeal?
Yeah, I believe.
That could do it.
For
Oh, no, not really, because I guess there's a Spell Pierce, right?
He'd have to not cast the Sundering Titan.
Yeah. So you're going to blow up the 3 lands. 1.
Alright. Bob's thinking about
2.
Maybe floating mana here. And then you just pick the 3 shocks. That's not an island. Okay, so Stevens. There we go. Alright, so Bob's going to float a blue. Or a red. Alright, he's going to float all of his mana. So now he has Spell Pierce and Bolt mana. He's going to go ahead and cast Bolt, take Brandon down to 1.
Yep.
And
Bob's going to crack.
Yep, go down to 12.
11, did we miss a point of damage somewhere?
Yep, quite possibly.
Possibly we missed a fetch. So this actually leaves a lot of things open for Bob. Like, so he could draw another Collective Brutality and just drain life.
Yeah. Another Bolt, a Snapcaster.
Right.
Alright, here's the attack. Brandon
wants to block, but it's got flying.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess he forgot about the repeal.
Okay, well, there.
Alright, so Bob Levdansky is up 1 game with Grixis Delver over Brandon Lasure on Mono Blue Tron. Going into game number 2, what do you like out of the sideboard for the Mono Blue Tron deck?
Hand just. Oh, I guess it doesn't really have hand. I'm not sure what the sideboard has.
Usually, more bounce spells, board wipes, and counter spells.
So bounce spells are really, really good against any form of Grixis deck.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like he's got 3 Fatal Pushes in his sideboard. Some Dismember. Chalice is actually really, really good.
Yeah. Chalice of the Void would be.
So it looks like he's got his Thirst for Knowledges in his sideboard. That seems a bit awkward, I guess. He's playing a Gifts Ungiven package, so.
Does he have, like, reanimation targets in his deck?
I'm not sure.
You could Gifts, put Mindslaver
in your graveyard, I guess. And I don't know.
Like, Gifts for Mindslaver and Academy Ruins?
I suppose.
I mean, it's a thing you could do.
And Crucible Worlds, I guess.
Yeah.
Like. Well,
then you need a 4th card.
You don't have to get 4. You can get
2 or 4.
Is it 2 or 4?
Yeah.
I thought it was just up to 4.
Let's go to the text. Gifts Ungiven.
I could be wrong. It could be exactly 2 or 4, but I thought it was a up to.
For up to 4.
Right.
With different names. Yep.
Yeah, so you could go get 3.
I wonder what card I'm thinking of. Or maybe I'm thinking of not a card.
Perhaps. Imaginary card in Ryan's world.
I mean, that happens sometimes.
There's a lot of cards I wish for things.
Well, that's not really a card that I would wish for. It looks like he's putting the chalices in. Okay.
Yeah. Chalice seems like the correct choice.
Fatal Push as well, I like.
We didn't see any Gurmag Anglers or Taskers, but obviously this is the Delver version, so he may not have either one of those.
He does have Tasker at least.
Okay. I could see, like, definitely Gurmag Angler, like, but maybe that's more of a control option there.
Mm-hmm. Tasker's not bad in this deck because you actually do get to activate it on occasion and bring back some relevant spells.
Right.
And you do mill yourself a lot with Thought Scours and whatnot.
So, there's a lot of things that the Grixis deck has access to, obviously. It's going to want more discard. It's going to want not as much removal, but it wants some artifact removal. It gets to play, like, Shattering Sprees or, the Vandal Blast, those sort of effects.
Probably Callgun's Command is his go-to artifact destruction spell.
Right. There may be like a one-up Vandal Blast, just because the overload is so good on it.
Yeah.
I can honestly say I don't think I've ever overloaded a Vandal Blast personally.
I feel like our local players tend to trim on Affinity Hate because no one plays it here.
I mean, I try not to metagame for our particular meta.
That's also my philosophy, but I'm not going to say all of our players have that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like I've had,
like I every time I play Modern, I have 3 Stony Silences in my sideboard.
Right. I usually have at least 2.
Yeah.
And some sort of Vandal.
2 to 3.
And some sort of Shadow Storm or Vandal Blast or Shattering Spree type effect. Usually not Vandal Blast or Shattering Spree just because it costs 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I play Chalice decks usually.
Yeah.
So it's usually Shattering Spree, which also hurts me, but...
Okay, so Brandon's going to lead on Polluted Delta and kick it back. Bob's going to raise him a Polluted Delta and crack it, go down to 19 at least.
And go get a Water Grave.
So he's at 17.
So
leading on a Delver again, maybe?
Possibly, or an Inquisition.
Yeah. Either would be strong. There's Delver.
I guess it's always lead off with the Delver if you have the Delver.
Yeah, typically. I mean, you don't really have to worry about getting turn 2'd in this format.
Right. I didn't even really play Delver when he was in Standard.
I did not either. That season I played Green-White Pod in various human decks.
I was on, for those seasons, I was on Zombie Pod, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's sweet.
And just regular zombies.
Yeah. Alright, so Brandon will be joining Mr. Levdansky at the
And I believe this is
17.
a fatal push.
Yep, seems that way.
Nope.
I wonder why he shocked it. Alright, so here's a mine. Brandon's first Tron piece.
And here comes a Spatial Contortion.
That's interesting. That's a cool removal spell. That's a fun way to kill a Delver.
Sure.
Is that the +3, -3?
I believe so.
Okay. I like it.
Probably not the particular card I would use in this particular matchup.
But
I mean,
hey, it kills the Delver.
It
Flip Delver, too.
It does.
Alright, so here's Serum Visions. I like the new art.
Yeah, I saw a...
Bottom.
An altar of it, where it was a full art altar.
That's cool.
And they animated it for online use.
Nice.
So, like, it looks like Gitaxis is kind of, like, moving and, like, trying to creep on you.
That's creeper.
So, and he played a second one, obviously, for another Serum Visions.
Yep. Second mine for Brandon. That's
not quite what you want to be at.
No.
So it looks like Brandon's got a lot of reactive spells.
I see a Repeal.
I think there's a Worm Coil in there.
Yeah.
And a Oblivion Stone.
Yep. And Academy Ruins. Alright, so here's Collective Brutality. See if Bob wants to escalate this time.
I think he's just choosing the discard mode.
Yep, so here's the Duress. And
It's
I'm
gonna get
take the stone, I imagine.
I think it has to be an instant or sorcery.
I thought it was just Duress. Let me go to the tapes. Either way, Bob decides to choose the repeal, which makes sense considering he's playing a Delver.
Right.
Alright.
So it's target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose an instant or sorcery card from it.
Oh, so it's not even Duress.
Right. So it's really limited.
Yeah.
There's the Oblivion Stone.
Okay.
Now the Oblivion Stone's not long for this world.
Yeah, because Bob does have a Kolaghan's Command in his
Right.
hand. So he'll get to blow that up and then probably make Brandon discard another card.
And then Bob's trying to decide if he wants this untapped. So it's kind of weird playing all these red-blue lands in a deck that typically has a lot of black spells.
Yeah.
But I think that's the difference between the Grixis deck and the Delver list and the actual control list.
When you get to 2 for 1 your opponent and take out their O-Stone and their Worm Coil engine, and you generally you actually get to 1 for 1 a Worm Coil engine.
Right.
Yeah. Although Brandon does have the Academy Ruins.
Right, and then they'll be able to buy back at least both pieces there.
Yeah.
I think he's just going to crack the map though.
Yeah.
At least
that's what I would do. Wait, he didn't play a land that turn, right?
no.
Then
He used the talisman.
shouldn't he have cracked the map and then just played the land?
Yes.
Okay.
That would be the correct play.
Yeah.
But, we're not here to judge exactly how the players play.
I know.
We're-
I've gotten flustered with facing down the Delver and made some less than correct plays.
Alright, so now the Kolaghan's Command is going to come in and make him discard.
Oh, yeah, he has to discard the power plants.
So, okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay, Bob.
Yeah, that's another reason to crack the map right there, because then Bob doesn't have any priority to make him discard the land.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so Brandon, I didn't see his draw, but he's just going to pass it back.
Yeah. And the Delver flips from the surgical, and Bob's thinking about casting it.
You can take him off of Tron right here by surgicaling that power plant.
Yeah. I think that's probably the correct thing to do.
I mean, like we said, Tron isn't as important for the blue deck as it is against the green-red.
Right.
But I think you should pressure him and exploit.
So that's going to bring Lasure down to 11.
Yeah, it's 5 points. And Bob's just taking a look.
Seeing if he wants to hit anything.
You could also wait until he activates Academy Runes and then just surgical whatever he tries to put on top of his deck. I kind of like just taking him off of Tron, though. Of course, then again, Tron is my least favorite deck in the world, so it just defeats everything I've ever played.
It is another deck that I had thought about playing in the past. I had the pieces for it for a short time.
Mm-hmm.
Very short time. Chose, after I put it together, I'm just like, I don't want to play this.
Yeah.
And I traded away all the pieces.
I had Mono Blue Tron built as a loner deck, and I
remember that.
Yeah, and it was fun. If I was gonna play a Tron deck, I think I like the blue one because you get to do some pretty goofy things. Right. Sundering Titan is fun for the Tron player. All right, Brandon goes down to 10.
Not sure from what, but again, we probably missed something. It's not uncommon for us to miss stuff here and there. Points of life. So that's going to bring Brandon down to 5 after that attack. And Bob's just kind of sitting on old Spell Pierce.
Yeah, I was kind of egging him to take him off Tron, but he really doesn't have to cast that surgical until he needs to. And here we go.
Here we go.
Down to 12.
Yep. He's going to reveal a hand. So he's going to take the other power plant. Is that what that is?
Yeah, because this doesn't take him off of Tron.
It just slows down his mana some.
Only if. I mean, not even really, because he didn't have any power plants in his hand.
Right. So Bob's going through making sure that he hits all 4 power plants, which
Yeah. Well, all 3.
All 3. So there was a time where people were talking about banning Tron.
There was a time where people were just talking about banning 8th edition and 9th edition.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Blood Moon, Choke.
Yeah. Now, see, if they had banned Tron, like, people are like, well, you just ban all 3 pieces. I'm like, no.
You just ban 1.
You just ban 1.
Yeah.
Like, and people are like, well, which one do you ban? Obviously it's the tower.
Because it's the Tower of Power.
Right, because, you know, it...
So Brandon puts the map on top of his deck with Academy Ruins, and Bob says, "Okay, Thought Scour, you mill 2, I draw."
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. All right, and Brandon's just like, "All right, we're done here.
I've done enough. Fulminator Mage again."
All right, so Bob Levdansky takes the match 2-0 over Brandon Leisure. He's playing Grixis Delver over Mono Blue Tron. Great match from both players. They're very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen those 2 decks play.
Not against each other. So Rod's been going pretty quick. Unfortunately, like, not a lot of people have been wanting to get on camera in between rounds. It's just kind of a hassle to move.
Well, we may be back with another match. Otherwise.